This video will be demonstrating the hack that my group created for the Applock by domobile. And this hack, what it does is it retrieves a media that is stored in the vault in the Applock. Now the vault is secured by the Applock with a pin that you would use to enter in order to access that Applock app, and then you would, on the vault right here is where you would see your media. Now when you lock it like that, it is inaccessible to anybody else other than people who have that pin or pattern or fingerprint. Now what we did was we exploited the app through finding their SQLite folder, the SQLite file that they use to store the information of where the files that they have secured, where they have stored them. We've got the extension as the name of those files. The SQLite table has all of that information. So that is what our hack does. It accesses that table and retrieves the file based on the information provided. So now I will show you. As you can see, the vault was empty. We will now save a picture in the vault. So let's use this share method. Move into vault. Oh, now that app is stored. Sorry, that picture is now stored in the vault. So we'll now check the vault to see it. I'll enter the pattern. The vault. And there we have our picture that we just saved in the vault. Okay, now the phone is connected via USB. USB debugging is turned on. This is a requirement. The USB debugging has to be turned on in order to access in order to run the ADB commands that we use in our Python code. So now open. I'll show you the documents folder. This is where the file will be retrieved in this vault media file right here, the vault media folder. You can see it's empty. So when I run the code, just simply type in the location of the Python file. As you can see, it's now running, it's pulling the files that we need, and there it is, it's finished. So now when we check our documents folder and refresh it, we'll see a new folder called don't remove. This is where we pulled all the folders that they would possibly store it in, and at the end we have the SQLite database file that we use to retrieve the file, the image that we stored in the vault. So if we open our vault media folder right now, there we have the picture that we just stored in the vault. So we can view it, and it's in the same format that we saved it in. Now if we check back the vault on the phone, we will see that the picture is still in the vault on the phone, but we also have it, a copy of it, on our computer, on the attacker's computer. Now to go to the code that we used to do this, So the Python code, the first thing we did after we imported a couple of things, we had to change directory to this path right here. Now this path is the path that you need to go to run the ADB commands on an Android phone. So when you have the Android SDK installed, this is where you go to run commands. So you need to change directory to this folder in order to run on your phone. Granted that you have the correct SDK for your Android OS version. In this case, it would be the SDK for Android Oreo. So after we navigated to that folder, second thing we did was we ran an ADB pull. Now this pulls the don't remove file that you just saw in the documents. The don't remove file contains 100 folders and the SQLite file that Applock used to store the media information in. So we pull that whole folder from the phone into documents. Now they stored it in a hidden folder, which is this twisted version of domobile. That's the name. So after that, we use this code to print out only the files in that folder, not the folders, not the 100 folders, on the file. We then stored that in a variable called SQLite file. We converted it to string so we can easily use it and manipulate it. So now we concatenate the file name along the database name. So the SQLite file name is the name of the database. We concatenate that with the path that it would be in, and we store these for further use to query the SQLite database. So after we open the connection right here, we select from the first column that we need, which is destination path. Now that destination path is in the database is where Applock has stored the media that you had moved to the vault. The second thing we do is we query the database again, and we store the name of extension that we got, which could be JPG, could be MP4, any extension that it is, we store it because that is stored on the database. Because when Applock locks the file in the vault, they remove the extension from the vault, from the file. So now we have to manipulate the path a bit to cut off some of the extra characters that were given to us. After doing that, the path that they gave to us is slightly different from the path that is actually on it. Instead of having .domobile, as you see up here, they have .mysecurity. So we then need to manipulate the string, the path, to change that to .domobile, which is what this code does here. It splits it up and then puts it back with the correct path. Here we just manipulate the extension to remove the extra characters again and to add the dot in front of it. Now after that, we have to change directory again to go back to the folder that we need to run the ADB commands, because we're about to do another pull. Now this is where we actually pull the actual file from the vault onto the attacker's computer. So here we concatenate ADB pull with the media path that we have just retrieved and edited and formatted in the right format, and we pull it to our location on our computer, which is vault media in the documents. Right here, what we do is we retrieve the media name now from that folder because it's without the extension. So what we do, we get the name, and we already have them. So what we do, we rename it. We run a system command to rename it to add the extension. So this is where we added the extension, and after that the file is then easily opened, because without that you don't know the extension, you don't know whether it's a video or a picture or a JPG or a PNG file. So now we get it in its original format so it can be easily opened and viewed, which is how we get this picture right here.